there's something called psychoacoustics. Psychoacoustic. Psychoacoustics is the perception of sound that differs from what is actually present. Psychoacoustics. Now, when we talk about the amplitude, the loudness of sound, the range of human beings, what we're able to actually hear, is only a certain part of sound. You know that there are sounds that are too high or too low that we can't hear. Animals may hear it, or space aliens may hear it, but ours lives right in a certain area of human hearing. There's a threshold of hearing, a certain decibel, and when you get up to around 120 decibels, then we're at the threshold of pain. It will actually hurt our ears. You guys ever been to a concert, and then you get back in the car, you go home at night, and it's, wah, your ears are all, that's not good for you. That means that there's something that's actually physically happened to you. Yes?
What was the definition for psychoacoustics?
Psychoacoustics is the appearance of sound that's different from what's actually there. The perception of sound differs from what's actually there. I'll give you an example in just a minute. But with amplitude, we have a threshold of hearing, and frequency too. There's a range of frequency that humans can hear, the pitch, the tone. Now, some examples of psychoacoustics might be something like masking. We can mask a loud sound and make it softer. And there's different types of masking. There's another one, I want you to know this particularly because it's on the text. And it's called spatial perception. And we deal with this every day. When we put the earbuds in our ears and listen to a song in stereo, what it's really doing is giving us a perception of sound that's not truly there. We might hear the drums on this side and the guitar on this side, even though it's not really there, but the way we placed it, this is part of the psychoacoustics of spatial perception. It allows for accurate localization. When we talk about quick attacks and slow attacks and how we sustain sound, this is all part of psychoacoustics. Now, we've talked a little bit about the difference between digital and analog, thank you very much, in this class. When we talk about digital audio, I want you to be aware of two things about digital audio. When we look at it, when we create it, when we mess with it, we deal with what's called the sampling rate, the number of samples that an analog waveform taken per second. If we look at this little, sine wave up here, and we want to sample something, if I sample it once right here, then I'll get a certain amount of information. If I sample it twice, we'll get a certain amount of information. If I sample it 50,000 times in 1 second, then clearly I'm going to get more information. So I want to talk about the sampling rate. In digital audio, we talk about the sampling rate, and that's the number of samples of an analog audio waveform that's taken per second. And this is what we call hertz. The other thing is something called the bit depth of digital audio. And that's the number of possible values at each sampling point. And we measure this in bits. Now, I would just want you to know that the sampling rate and the bit depth are two of the things that we use in the creation of digital audio. I'll come back to that in a second, too. You guys know when you've gone up to, in the old days, you guys remember Napster and then LimeWire and whatever you're stealing songs from now. What are you stealing songs from now? What? Yeah, all this stuff. In the old days, when I looked at friends who were taking music off of LimeWire, you would notice on the side it will tell you this is 70, this is 120, this is 240, and you knew that if you picked the 240, it was going to be a cleaner sound. That's because they sampled it more times. It was a higher sampling rate. Therefore, we got more information. Therefore, the music was supposed to be, or should be, clearer for us. The sampling rate does that. And even though we don't have CDs anymore, it's all going away, it's another technology, the sampling rate for a CD was 44.1 thousand hertz per second. That's a lot of information per second. So you know that we're getting a lot of information in sound. When we were talking about, the last time we were talking about images, did I mention to you the word dithering? Did we talk about dithering? Well, if I didn't, let me say it again. Dithering is when you add noise to a signal. When you add noise to a signal. And we can do that in anything that's digital. But in images, we add dithering. Why would we add noise to a signal? Anybody with an image? You guys done? What? Notification? Anybody else? Sometimes if we have an image,